but I'm not entirely sure that these projects are really mine from the word go, and which ones I could take with me and really make it my idea and establish myself in that area. So I guess that's something that's worrying me a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think that's incredibly important. I mean, you know from when you first came to the lab that my point of view about taking projects with you is you can take any reagent that you made, any idea, you can work, as far as I'm concerned, on whatever you want, but that I'm not going to tell you that I'm not going to work on it too. So, but the good thing is that we have a good relationship. I don't expect that you will tell me everything you're going to do, but if you want to, I promise you that I will be completely open with what my actual plans are and what things I'm sort of like interested in, but I don't have any like warm body to work on. So I'll be very, very upfront with you about what I'm doing. And I would encourage that we just have this, conversation. But the big thing is, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I guess I'd like to get an academic job, but I really want to go somewhere good. I mean, I've had a pretty good experience from undergraduate and graduate studies. And I like working with really smart people, and I can't imagine really going anywhere except I want to stay here. So maybe Berkeley, UCSF, or Stanford, really.
Okay. So is your husband geographically flexible at all?
No, he's working here.
Okay, so you really do feel committed to the Bay Area.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, well, I mean, I think we have to be realistic, right? The good news is that you got an excellent background as an undergraduate, really great graduate work. Those 2 papers were just gangbusters. So search committees are really going to be looking for people who've hit a home run as a graduate student, who've hit a home run as a postdoc. And so we don't yet know whether you're going to hit the ball out of the park with this project. And Stanford, Berkeley, and UCSF are all top tier institutions, very competitive. So I think that, I would encourage you to just swing the bat as hard as you can and go for it. Because if this paper turns out like we hope it will, I think it would be very high profile and that you would be competitive for those jobs.
And if it comes out in the Journal of Neuroscience?
Well, it's not so much the journal itself, but it's really the story and the impact. And so, obviously you should apply for the jobs that are of highest importance for you. But in that case, I think if your postdoc work is a little bit lower impact, you might not be as competitive for those institutions as we would both want you to be. And to have a backup plan. I mean, if you're really committed to academic science,
so maybe it's just easier to get a job in industry.
Well, not really. I mean, industry is a whole different thing, right? It's a whole different way of doing science, being part of a team. It's very exciting. We've got great biotech companies in the area, but they're also very competitive and are going to really be wanting.
Really? They're going to look at my publications? And...
Yeah. My husband runs research at Genentech, and some of the people he's hiring are like Stanford faculty. So, but that's just one company. So I think the bottom line is that we have to come up with a plan that will, if you really are committed to academic life, then maybe to find out how open your husband really is to looking at excellent institutions across the country. But if it really is Bay Area or nothing, then to start to investigate biotech companies and identify the companies that are most directly connected with your interests and start to really learn about what options might be available there. But no matter what, research success is going to be
And you don't think it would be better just to do another postdoc? I mean, maybe in another 3-4 years I have enough papers that then I'd be able to get a job at Stanford?
It's conceivable that doing a second postdoc could be helpful. But what I wouldn't do is stay here for yet another year if you felt that a second postdoc was the key. So you would be your paper submitted this summer, and so maybe we just need to revisit this issue when we know the results of your paper. Because I think, again, if that goes like we hope it will, it could be a very prominent, high-profile publication. But there's just a lot of uncertainty right now, what kinds of jobs you'll be competitive for. So, and this would probably go on for quite a bit longer, this part. So we'll pretend that it's over. So the plan is that you'll be on the job market this fall. Industry, academia, I'll try to help you figure that out. And what can I do to help you get prepared for that? What do you want me to do?
I think the main things are the project-related things that we've talked about. And I guess in addition to that, if you could, if I'm thinking about industry, this is something I haven't really thought about much before, if you could put me in touch with anybody you know.
Okay.
And maybe just, you know, if you hear of people speaking or whatever that are relevant to my interests, maybe just let me know and just keep it on the radar, and that would help.
So I'll keep my eyes and ears open for all kinds of jobs. I think you should probably get involved with the SUPD because they have a lot of great workshops for stuff like this. And then we need to come up then with a plan for really talking about developing a research vision, which is one of the things you mentioned. And maybe you could sort of put together some ideas for what kinds of things you might want to do in the future. And then we could just sit down and talk about those at a separate meeting. So why don't you initiate that,
Okay.
write down some ideas, and then we can just bounce those back and forth and try to develop a research plan. Does that sound like a reasonable action plan?
Yeah.
Okay. Great, okay. Well, then same time next year, huh?
Yep.
Okay.